Ronaldo Fenomeno did not hold back. He says Argentina is a complete embarrassment to global soccer. That is exactly what he said, blunt and absolutely brutal. The greatest striker to ever step foot on a soccer field. And I swear to you, once you hear every single word he dropped, especially when we get to what Zidane said, the brand new manager of France, your jaw is going to hit the floor because Zidane was much harsher, more controversial, and far more dangerous than Ronaldo. Now that is really saying something, but I am not going to drop that Zidane bombshell on you just yet. No, first you really need to understand exactly why the entire soccer world is up in arms against Argentina. You will witness every scandal, every major brawl, and every referee heist, every political provocation this team pulled during the 2026 World Cup. And once you have the full context, when you have seen the whole picture, only then will I reveal word for word exactly what Ronaldo Fenomeno said and right after, what Zidane fired back. And I promise you, what Zidane did goes way beyond anything you could ever imagine. So make sure to stick around until the very end because this story will burn 3 facts into your mind. First, the 9 massive controversies that turned Argentina into the most deeply hated national team in World Cup history. Second, the full statement from Ronaldo Fenomeno, every single line, nuance, and verbal jab. And third, that Zidane bombshell that has completely turned the entire global soccer community upside down. 23 million people signed to kick Argentina out of the World Cup. 23 million. Let that sink in, and when you see what they did, you'll understand why. Let's get into it. Look, we all knew Scaloni's Argentina was a tough, frustrating team, always playing on the edge, wasting time, provoking, and driving everyone completely insane. We saw it in Qatar and we saw it in Copa America, but what went down at the 2026 World Cup in the United States, Mexico, and Canada was absolutely uncalled for. That is no longer playing on the edge, that is crossing the line, spitting on it, and walking away like nothing happened. And the absolute worst part is that they actually reached the final. Yes, they made the final by doing literally everything you are never supposed to do on a soccer pitch. And when they finally lost, because Spain's very own La Roja absolutely destroyed them, they sparked a massive brawl that looked more like a hooligan movie than a World Cup final. But let's break this down, because we have to go in order for you to truly grasp the scale of this disgrace. We begin in the round of 16 July 7th, Atlanta Stadium, Argentina versus Egypt. And this, my friends, is where it all started. This was the exact moment the world opened its eyes and said, wait a second. What on earth is going on? Egypt was winning 2-0, 2-0. The Egyptians were playing the game of their lives, their fans going completely wild, their players giving it absolutely everything. And in the 62nd minute, Mostafa Tsiko, remember that name, scored their third goal. 3-0, the single biggest shock of the entire tournament. The kid rips off his shirt and runs wild down the sideline, hugging his bench, the whole stadium exploding, and right then the VAR steps in. Goal disallowed for a soft alleged foul in the build-up on Lisandro Martinez. Know what former FIFA ref Mark Klenberg said? He insisted that was never a foul, and the VAR should have stayed completely out. Rob Green, the former England goalkeeper, said it live on Fox Sports there was no foul. Analysts across the globe agreed no foul. But the VR did not care, and referee Lee Texier did not care. So suddenly 3-0 became 2-0, and it did not even end there. Just minutes later, Hamdi Fadi, the Egyptian player, gets dragged down hard inside the box. A textbook penalty. Penalty? What penalty? League Zerny does not even flinch, blowing no whistle. On the next play, Argentina surges up, pressing. And in the 92nd minute, yes, in stoppage time, Enzo Fernandez strikes to make it 3-2. Miraculous comeback or a suspicious one, depending on the person. Hear what the Egyptian head coach Jossam Hassan said? No exaggeration, these were his exact words. He said it was clearly rigged. If they wanted Argentina to win so badly, why bother inviting anyone else to play in the World Cup? Zico himself, the kid whose goal was disallowed, called it match fixing, straight up, holding absolutely nothing back. The Egyptian Football Association filed a formal complaint with FIFA against the referee and his crew, alleging biased officiating and the improper use of VR. This is not just angry fans tweeting. This is an entire national federation filing official paperwork directly with FIFA. And let me ask you, does this honestly seem normal? Do you really believe a contested call in the World Cup round of 16 gets resolved by wiping away a clean goal and ignoring a penalty? Because to me, it personally feels like something was completely rotten inside that VAR room, and I am definitely not alone in thinking that. But hold on, because the Egypt situation was just the very beginning. When you actually look closely at the bracket Argentina had to go through, things get a whole lot darker. Until the semifinals, Scaloni's Argentina did not have to face a single opponent ranked in the FIFA top 13. Not one. Can you believe it? Easy opponents during the entire group stage. In the round of 16, Egypt. In the quarters, Switzerland. Only in the semifinals did they meet a true powerhouse. England, then Spain in the final. To half the world, that bracket seemed like a completely calculated path to get Messi to the final. Just a coincidence, a lucky draw maybe. But when you combine that easy path with the controversial calls against Egypt, plus everything that followed, those endless coincidences start to look like something else entirely. And now let us talk about those infamous soccer dark arts. Because if there is one thing everyone agrees on, it is that Argentina has turned anti-football into a precise science. The British press literally dubbed them masters of the dark arts, soccer's dark arts. And they are not just masters, they hold doctorates with highest honors. In the final against Spain, and this is heavily documented, one outlet tracked it, Argentina committed 27 dirty tricks in 120 minutes. Diving, wasting time, tactical fouls, provocations, off the ball shoving, endless swarming of the ref, you name it. Yet Spain dominated from start to finish. Argentina barely shot. Their plan was simple: survive delay, disrupt the rhythm, kill the game, hoping for a set piece or a counterattack. When that did not work, plan B was simple: start kicking. Enzo Fernandez saw his first yellow for dissent in the 82nd, then his second in the 92nd, a dangerous, brutal tackle on Pau Cubarsí, the young Spanish defender who went flying through the air. Red card. Argentina played all of extra time with 10 men, while Scaloni also got carded for aggressive protesting. At the end, Argentina accumulated 5 yellow cards to Spain's 0. 5-0, that is not just a stat, it is a perfect portrait. Hear what RT, the Irish television network, said: that Argentina always plays right on the absolute edge. They don't just play on the very edge. They cross way over the line, laughing in your face. Are you getting angry yet? Well, brace yourselves for the semifinal against England, because what happened after that whistle blew is easily the most shameful thing you will ever see. On the actual pitch, Argentina won it 2-1. Enzo Fernandez and Lautaro Martinez scored the goals. It was a brutal, tense clash fueled by decades of bitter historical rivalry. That was just soccer. But right after the final whistle blew, Lisandro Martinez, Lo Celso, Christian Romero, and Otamendi grabbed a banner from the stands. They marched across the pitch, parading a political sign from the supporters. The Falklands belong to Argentina. The Falkland Islands, the exact territory Argentina and the United Kingdom fought a bloody war over back in 1982. That war killed 649 Argentines and 255 British. And these players' mother, right after a World Cup semifinal, decide to wave a political banner about a deadly war at a FIFA event where political displays are strictly banned. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer immediately demanded an investigation. Argentina's Vice President Victoria Villarreal had called the English usurping pirates before the game, while President Milei declared the political stunt completely valid. Can you believe that? An actual president endorsing a political stunt at the World Cup. Naturally, FIFA launched a disciplinary investigation against the Argentine Association for bringing politics into a sporting event. And rightly so, because soccer, like it or not, is simply no place for territorial disputes, especially not when you just won a massive semifinal and your very first instinct is to humiliate your opponent over a deadly war. Now, this is where we get into the really heavy stuff, because everything we have covered so far, the daylight robbery against Egypt, the easy route, the dark arts, the political banner, that was just the appetizer. What is coming next is the main course, and it starts with a number that will leave you absolutely frozen. 23,316,108 signatures. 23 million people from 170 countries in under a single week. That is how many signed the massive Argentina out petition, an